Šabaz Nejpir, playmaker of Crvena Zvezda, talking to Sport Klub on EuroLeague Media Day. Šabaz, how do you like it in Belgrade so far? Now you've spent quite a few days and weeks here in Crvena Zvezda. What are your first impressions?
I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it a lot. You know, off the court, it's a lot of great things to explore. You know, for me, it's quite easy. You know, I don't do too much, so I'm enjoying every moment I got. You know, hopefully we can bring a lot of excitement to the fans. I'm excited to see the fans. Obviously, I've never played in Serbia ever, so I'm excited for that.
You've come mid-season to Olimpija Milan last season, and you exploded literally because with U.S. players coming for the first time to Europe, generally it's a little unknown how they are going to get adapted to FIBA rules and so on, but you seem to have no problem with it whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean the team made it easy. The team that I went to was really a great team already. They was just struggling, but you know it was quite easy for me just to come in and just be myself. We had a great team, great plays that Messina drew up, and all around we made great opportunities of what we had.
And you've made yourself a leader of the team quickly when coming there. You were also a leader of the team in your college days, and a lot is expected from you in Red Star. So how do you say, like, is it hard for you? Is it like a burden having to be the leader of the team, or do you enjoy the role?
I think, to be honest, if you want to be great at anything, pressure is going to be around you, and it's either you succumb to the pressure or you take it and make diamonds. So for me, I just take it and try my best. You know, if I make the shot, I make the shot. If I miss the shot, I miss the shot. It's basketball at the end of the day. So for me, I don't try to allow pressure to affect me. I just go out there and try to play my best. And I know basketball is not a one-man team. So if we have a great team, I think we could do great things. And I believe here we do have a great team.
Do you prefer the role of being the one with the ball most of the time, taking the most shots on the team, or being like one of the role players? Maybe in some NBA teams you had like a smaller role than the one you.
No, I don't prefer either or. I think whatever the game tells me to do that day, that's what I try to do. I'm accepting of both roles. I played where I was the guy on the team, and I played where I was a role player on the team, and I excelled in both stages of my life. So for me, I guess I like the even balance of it. Some games I might be the guy that's going to score. There's going to be games where I'm not going to be the guy that scores. So for me, it's the even balance.
And how would you describe the biggest differences, the biggest maybe shocks when it comes to basketball when coming first time and playing EuroLeague? So what are the things that surprised you and you were like, oh, we haven't done this in the NBA?
I mean, there's a lot of differences, but I can kind of take it off the court. You know, when you go overseas, you get to experience cultures from different countries, and I think in America we have different cultures, obviously, because it's a melting pot, but you never really get to dive in to the exact culture of that country or that state. So when you go to Israel, when you go to Spain, you get to dive into different cultures, and I think that's one of the best parts of playing overseas.
And different coaches, you mentioned Coach Ivanovic, you also played with...
Cultures.
Coaches.
Yeah,
okay,
cultures. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But still, you played under different coaches. And what are your opinions on how Coach Ivanovic approaches the game?
I don't know yet. To be honest, I've only been with him for a couple weeks now, so I don't try to figure a guy out in the first 2 weeks. You know, that's not right. You know, you got to see months in advance, or just months with a guy to really understand who he is. So I can't tell you the difference between him and Messina. You know, when I met Messina, I didn't know much of him. Obviously, you hear stuff about him, but I like to take my own perspective when I meet the guy. I don't like to hear everybody else's and try to throw that on them.
Obviously. And what about teammates here that you have? It's quite a stellar group of guards that you have with d.o.o, Thiago, and a few other guards. So how would you say you like the fit?
I'm enjoying it. Obviously I played against Theodosius in the NBA. I also played against him in the Italian League last year. I've always loved his game. You know, his ability to create for others, his ability to score, his ability just to see things. You know, during practice sometimes he sees things that I'm like, wow, I'm surprised. But he's so much of a wizard with the basketball. Obviously, Nedovic, he played in the NBA as well. I don't believe I played against him, but you know, I watched his game. I've enjoyed his game from afar, and I'm excited to actually play with a guy like that as well. You know, just the wizardry, I guess, wizardry that we have on a point guard and the shooting guard, combo guard position is exciting.
And you haven't been here for a long time, but who would you say are some of the team leaders in the locker room? Some of
the team leaders?
The team leaders in the locker room. Some of the players whose words are listened to the most, so to say.
You know what? I'm not really 100% sure I can name one person. I think everybody has said something that has impacted the team so far. So to be honest, I'm not 100% sure, but I will hang my hat on Teodosius because obviously the respect he has as a player, as a man, we all respect him. So I would say if I had to choose someone, it would be a Teodosius.
Right, and many also NBA but European players mentioned how hard it is to score in Europe, how the lanes are more clogged, the court is smaller, there's like strict schemes that you have to follow. So would you agree with that? I'm
not going to answer that because that's you guys are just trying to start some up again. I'm not going to answer that.
It's not starting anything.
I think for me, the game is different. I would answer. That's the way I would answer. The game is so different. It's 8 less minutes that makes it harder for anybody to score. You know, so a guy in the NBA who could score 30 points per game in I guess 35 to 40 minutes. Because you come here, you're not going to do that because it's 8 less minutes. You know what I mean? So it's too hard for me. It's too hard to say one league is different than the other scoring wise because 8 minutes is a lot of minutes. You know, it's huge. So for me, it's hard for me to answer that question because it's relatively it's not the same. Basketball is basketball, but it's not the same as much people think it is.
Right. And would you say that perception of European basketball is changing in the U.S.? So we see big names such as, for example, Kemba Walker coming to your league, yourself as well. So would you say that maybe the U.S. audience is watching EuroLeague more now, or not maybe watching but paying attention more?
Yeah, I would say overseas has not received the applause, the recognition that it should have, because I believe a lot of people don't realize that basketball is so worldwide that you have great players, and it was great to see, you know, Germany win this year in the World Cup. They have great players that are in different countries of the world, different continents. So I believe overseas have never got the recognition that they deserve, 100%. And then you get guys who come from overseas to the NBA who's doing a stellar job. So, yeah, I definitely believe it's been great to see players come over. You know, the Kemba Walkers, the Serge Ibaka's, guys that kind of respect the game at a high level. So for me, it's exciting to see that.
Right. And so you come to Serbia, the place of big basketball culture, right? Serbia just now played the finals of the World Cup. So you've probably seen the videos of the atmosphere in EuroLeague in Belgrade. And so what was your perception of Serbia before deciding to come to Crvena Zvezda?
Well, the perception is what everybody was telling me. Like, oh, it's erratic fans, exciting fans. And then obviously you see YouTube clips of the fans, the Serbian fans, and it's exciting to see how much they are into the game. I'm just excited to actually take part in that. You know, I've never witnessed nothing like that. So to see flares in the air, you know, to see just a section of just going up and down nonstop, not being quiet the whole game, it's something you never really get to see. So for me, I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to be a part of that.
And has it been maybe a little harder for you to adapt to European lifestyle? Have you had any how to say, problems or just any challenges when coming to Italy and now to Serbia? How much is it different outside of the court for you?
I mean, there's a lot of differences, but I don't try to do too much to feel the differences, I guess. Obviously, the language barrier. But in Italy, they spoke somewhat English. I don't know. I mean, it's tough because I've only been overseas really for 4.5, 5 months. Obviously, I tried to play for Zenit, and I got hurt in Russia. So I would have had experienced that. But I mean, for me, like I said, it's quite the experience when you get to dive into different cultures, to hear people, to see their personalities, to see their characteristics in different cultures. So it's worth the experience, I would say.
You mentioned I wanted to ask you the injury that you had in Zenit. So how happy are you having recovered from such a hard injury and being on such a high level again after the
you know what?
period?
It was a tough time for me because I've never had an injury that took that long, and it took me more than a year to fully recover. Even in Italy, I was dealing with some problems. So I think for me, just to be close to being 100%, it's great for me, you know. So it's just exciting to feel like I'm playing again. You know, when you haven't played for a year and you got to take another year just to prepare yourself, it's just it's exciting to be in that situation I am now.
And also, I would like to ask you, as an NBA veteran, somebody who's been playing for a long time and with a significant role, how do you see Nikola Jokic and Denver Nuggets winning the championship? Because Serbia, clearly, it was the #1 topic in Serbia during their playoff run. So what do you think about Jokic game and generally how
I mean, he's the most unselfish big man you can have on your team. And all he wants to do is win. That's all you can really ask for. You know what I mean? The game is about winning. It's who's going to score the most at the end of the regulation. So for me, he's one of the best big men, if not the best big man in the NBA, in the world, you know. His ability to create for himself, his ability to create for others, you don't see that in guys who are 7 feet, you know what I mean? And I'm excited to see, just because it just brings in a whole nother level to the game. Sometimes the game's all about what can I do for myself. But when you have a guy who's at the top of the game, able to provide for others as well as himself, it makes the game so much easier and so much, I guess, easier to watch as well.
Yeah, definitely. And what do you think are some players, when you came first to EuroLeague, some players that you got surprised by, so to say, that some players that left a good impression on you, both European and US players maybe who you played against, or somebody who gave you some problems when guarding you that you didn't expect, somebody that you maybe would single out, or not one person, but somebody.
Yeah. So when I went to Russia, the person that I really enjoyed watching at that time was Joy Voigtman, who I played with in Italy, because he made the game easier, and I'm all about making the game easier. So that was the first guy I'm like, whoa. But I think for me, I knew about Tavares already, but until you get to play against him, you don't realize how much of an X factor he is. So those two guys I was really impressed with. And I think that's kind of the two guys that I was most impressed with in the very beginning.
Okay, what would be some message maybe that you would give to Crvena Zvezda fans in the beginning of the new season? What kind of game would they expect from Zvezda, and what are some of the things that the coach insists on you? What style of play, basically?
Well, I mean, I'm a creative guy, but I would hope we show them some excitement, because that's what they're going to give us. You know, I would hope that we give them the enjoyment that they're going to give to us, you know, because I think we have a great team. Obviously, it's going to always, when you have a great team, it's good on paper, but it takes time. But I think if we put all the right things together, we should do something special. But it's going to be, it's never going to be easy, you know. So I just hope that we can show them show them excitement as much as they're going to show us their excitement. So.
Thank you so much, Šabaz. So